Welcome back to No Chill with Gilbert Arenas. We are coming to you live from the Brewdog Outpost out here in Cleveland for All-Star Weekend 2022. We got a legendary guest with us. Before we get to that, Gil, glad you made it out. I heard you had some issues getting on that flight. If you want to tell people real quick what went down.
To be honest, it's the concept of 45 minutes to check my bag in. So if I get to the airport 2 hours, I'll just sit in the parking lot, right? Just watching Netflix or something. And then I'm like, oh man, 45 minutes. So I'll get to the thing and try to check it and I'm like, oh, it's closed. And I'm like, I'm so used to like just getting on the plane, right? Like, okay, it's, 10 o'clock, I can walk on at, 9:45. Like, what's happening, baby?
So those are baller issues that we'll never have to deal with, but let's introduce our guest. We got the legend, Amin Elhassan. For those who don't know, Amin started out with the Phoenix Suns. He was a video coordinator, rose up the ranks to assistant director of basketball ops before making the peace move and going over to ESPN for about a decade. You saw him on every show possible to jump all over the spot. Now he's doing stuff with Sirius. He's over with Meadowlark Media and Dan Lebitard and friends, and he's got a new podcast called Basketball Illuminati dropping. What's going down to me?
Man, I want to say I'm happy to be here, but I'm not. Man, look at this weather.
I'm happy to be here. Look
I'm
at
happy
this.
to be here with y'all.
Elements. Yeah, elements.
Because obviously, both of you guys are people I look up to and respect and I find hilarious. And I told producer Danny, I said, I didn't even know I was eligible to be on the show. I thought I had to have like some sort of resume playing somewhere in order to be.
I mean, you're doing major stuff though. I mean, we linked up probably like 6-7 years ago when I was doing Legend of Chamberlain Heights. You came by the office. I was trying to get to your level. Now we're almost. You're here. I'm getting there. I'm still climbing, but you're balling, man.
Yo, it's funny you talk about getting to the airport 2 hours early and just sitting there and waiting until 45 minutes. It reminded me of when I worked for the Suns, Hedo Türkoğlu. Mm-hmm. Like when we were at training camp, I had to drive the van, take the guys from the hotel to the facility, but like. I could only take like 4 or 5 at a time, but it's cool because everybody getting ready at a different time. Hedo would come out like early as hell. He'd be the first one out there. You sit down, he's like, is this the last run? I'm like, nah, I still got a bunch of them. He's like, I'll take the next one. He would do this literally until it was like the last one. So he would be 3 hours before practice, ready to go, but wouldn't go over until like, all right, practice starts in like 5 minutes. Let's go, let's do it.
Yeah. I don't know why. It's just...
Like, what's that? Why don't you watch Netflix inside? Like,
I don't know. That's what I said. It's like the comfort of my own car. It's a bad habit. Like I miss my first flights when I'm flying. It's like this running joke of just missing flights. Like I just can't just.
But that's a long trip coming from Woodland Hills to LAX, back to the Wood, the other Wood.
No, this was like 40 minutes. The concept of, I got to check my bag in 45 minutes before. Yeah. Like that just throws my timing off every single time.
But why are you waiting until the buzzer? Like,
I don't know.
You're doing that thing in the driveway, like 3, 2.
And then I'm gonna just be honest, because I know they listening, but I get to the kiosk and then I check in and they were like, oh, you can't check your bag. 45 minutes closed.
Right.
I was like, it's only 44 minutes. They said, all you have to do is just go talk to them and then they'll check your bag in. I was like, I'm gonna just go home. I'm going to Cleveland. I'm gonna just go home and do this shit tomorrow.
That's real. That's Gil. You moved to the beat of your own drum. You're always a real one. But I mean, let's talk about, you got the Basketball Illuminati podcast. That's a word, 2 words I never expect to see together. Yeah. The second word I don't really like saying much just because I like the bags that I'm getting and I don't want to,
You're part of it.
No, I'm in the Illuminati. I'm not, right, like, nah. But what's going on? So tell us a little bit about the show.
So basketball podcasts are all the same, right? You got a host, you got a second host, we got a guest today. How did the Nets beat the Knicks last night after going down 27, whatever? Oh, the big trade rumors, who's going to buyout market? Like, every podcast is the same in that way, in that same format. Now, some guests are funny and engaging and entertaining. Some of them are more technical, but it's the same thing. We said we want to do a podcast, but we want it to be different. And so basketball as a sport is one of conspiracy theories, more than any other sport. Like, think about how many different ones you can just think of, like, Patrick Ewing, the frozen envelope. Yeah. Jordan ate the pizza and the pizza was spiked and that's why he was sick.
Hennessy pizza.
Yeah, the Hennessy pizza, right? The lottery is rigged. How did the Cavs win #1 overall like 2 years in a row? And all of these things in our sport is big. So they said, let's do a show from the perspective of a conspiracy theorist. Like,
Okay.
everything is more than what it seems.
Yeah.
The league is pulling things like Michael Jordan was out for 2 years because he wanted to play baseball. Come on, man. So that's the whole concept of the show, is just digging into these conspiracies about everything, whether it's big stuff that's happened or stuff that's happening right now. Like, for instance, James Harden going to Philly. You an idiot if you think this just happened this week, right? The president is his boy from Houston. The president of business ops is his boy from Houston.
Yeah.
One of the owners is his boy. Like, and the guy said it in the press conference. Said this was my first choice.
Yeah.
So you think all of a sudden on Thursday, all of a sudden, oh, now they started talking? Come on, man.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you saying? I mean, we got temperchella going on? What's going on?
Look, I'm not here to like legislate or get people in trouble. I'm just telling everybody, if you following basketball, read the tea leaves, man. Write the writing on the wall. We know what's going on. We know these things aren't coincidences.
You think you're gonna have some backlash from the NBA?
So somebody asked me, is the name of the podcast NBA Illuminati? I said, no, Basketball Illuminati, because I don't want any problems, any flack. So our first episode, we had a thing that we uncovered. This is 100% true. There was a game between the Spurs and the Kings in December where Buddy Hield hits a clear three-pointer from about 24 feet out. But for whatever reason, the ref called it a 2. The replay center didn't fix it. And so the game ended basically with that one less point for the Kings. Now, the Kings won by 10. You say, what does it matter? Buddy Hield has incentives in his contract for three-point percentage and where he ranks in three-point makes for the season. So there's a scenario where, let's say he gets hurt or something, he's out $600,000 on that shot that probably should have counted but didn't. Now, you would think that someone would have caught it. They do a 48-minute report. They review everything afterwards, right? That's what they tell us. They tell us it's not just the last 2 minutes. They're reviewing everything. So let me get this straight. The refs didn't see it. The people in the replay center didn't see it. The people doing the 48-minute review didn't see it. And by the way, here's how I know that happened. Because on the shot chart, if you go to NBA.com, the NBA.com shot chart has it moved to be a two-pointer. Right? It's actually scored. You see it on the shot chart, make top of the key. But if you go to ESPN shot chart, it's the accurate one. So that means somebody said, boss, this is a three-pointer. Yeah, but they called it a 2. Go ahead and move it there.
Wow.
So you ask, is the NBA gonna be pissed? I'm pretty sure they're not gonna be happy that we're calling them out on things that they haven't fixed and they kind of brushed under the rug.
Speaking of that, so when I first came in, I remember, locker room talk, and we talk about players' contracts, right? Like, oh, this guy has a free throw incentive in his contract. This person has this. So when you're sitting on the bench, and you watching people's play, like, oh yeah, you got a wide open layup, go take it. Like, yo, why you didn't take that, right? I'm already at my shooting percentage. So I don't want to get fouled anymore. I don't want to. So now he's playing his game off of that incentive. So that let me know right now, never take incentive deals. Because now it's this, you don't control that. You think if you're last place and you got a bonus, that if you average, seen this one before, you average 20 points a game, you get an extra $3 million. And they check you in that game, you think they're gonna allow you to play? No, they're gonna check you in, 2 minutes into it, sub out. Dip to 19.8, boom, no $3 million.
That happens a lot with rookies that are qualifying offer. When you're a restricted free agent, there's a qualifying offer the team has to offer you in order to keep your restricted free agency rights, right? Now, depending on how many games and how many minutes you played in that last season, that qualifying offer might be lower or might be higher. So a lot of times you're like, I'm not gonna have to have $9 million tied up on this. So they will play around with the minutes. It's funny, like it works in different ways. I remember Grant Hill in Phoenix had a bonus. He had to average, a bonus from Nike, if he averaged 15 points or whatever it was for the season. And he was at like 14-9 or whatever. So that last game, we literally just force-fed him. Grant's a high IQ guy, good shot guy. He shot like 5 of 30 that game. Because we were force-feeding him, just trying to get him to however many points he needed to hit that incentive.
It was my second year. So, I'm on a 2-year deal.
Yeah.
So I'm on a 2-year deal.
minimum.
Yeah, I'm 2-year minimum.
Yeah.
So the first part of the season, you know, I'm averaging like 18, 7, and 8. No
Right.
triple doubles, just statting it. Right? We're winning. And then I remember our first televised game, we're playing against New Jersey. The game starts off 7-2 me. I got 7. Jason Kidd on national TV.
Right.
4 minutes in the game, I get subbed out. Right? So, you know, you get to the bench like, damn, what happened? It's like, man, you killing on TV, boy. Right? I know I am. Didn't get back into the game.
Right.
Coaching me at halftime. Finish where you left off. Like at that point, I'm hot. Like finish where I left off. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done.
Right.
And then I actually boycotted practice. Jason Richardson boycotted with me, and then that's where we both like got boycotted. We boycotted. It was a big thing.
Yeah.
Found out that I was playing over my mid-level exception. So they were like, you can't let him stay like this. So I remember I told Coach, I said, listen, I'm gonna tell you one thing right now, that my points ain't stopping, all right? You can play me as many minutes as you can play me 4 minutes, whatever. I'm shooting the ball. I just stop passing these fools. I don't care about none of that. If I'm averaging 18, I'm averaging 18. I said, because at the end of the day, if you losing because you don't have me in, that's on you.
Right.
They're gonna fire you, but I'm doing what I'm gonna do. And then at some point he was like, you know what? It is about my do you. Like, all right. Now, at least we're on the same page, because I was like, I won't pass it.
It's crazy. I mean, you got a rule named after you.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that crazy? Like the idea that.
We're not giving bags anymore because Gil literally just.
Well, no, it actually made things better for players because
that's what I'm saying,
Because
though.
at the time, it was like, I don't know how many of the viewers noticed, Gil killed, and the most they could offer him was a mid-level exception.
It was like
and like
22.
you had Clippers and Wizards, right? Both offering.
Yeah, like Clippers was like at 55, but we were still, what's so funny, it was still negotiating because it was uncharted. Everything was uncharted.
With the Warriors, you were still negotiating?
Yes, because that's what I said. So, well, I
Be
could
nice, like,
yeah. I
I
could have been Joe Smith, be honest.
Right.
Because they can only offer me like 42.
Right.
No, 49.
Yeah.
49 was the most. So Denver came in, was like 51.
Right.
I'm like, 2 million more?
Yeah.
Like, you know, and then Clippers went up to 55.
Right.
Washington was at 55.
And then they came up after that, right?
Yeah, so Brian and Russell opted out, mid-level went up.
Right.
I mean, the salary cap went up, so there was like, whatever we have, we're giving it to you. Like, all right. So, but I'm asking for the max at that point.
Right.
You know, I'm just asking. So Lamar Odom is waiting for me because he's number 1, I'm 2. So, like, we're sitting there trying to bounce off of each other. Warriors, I mean, you know, you there, I got the green light, I got this, you know, I got the Vipers and the Ferraris outside waiting for me. I was supposed to sign for the 4.9
Right.
for that 1 year,
Yeah.
and then I had a contract under the
So
table.
oh no, man, you know the story with that, right? With the Joseph.
yeah.
But you know like what actually happened.
No.
So they said we'll do it, and then allegedly, Joe's agent said because the owner was so old, and said, yeah, this dude might croak, and then y'all ain't gonna honor the deal. So that's why they put it in writing. Oh. That's how they got caught. If it was just a verbal kind of, we'll take care of you, nothing would have happened.
Same shit. It was.
You want it in writing?
What? So the contract was already going to be signed, dated,
Oh, wow.
everything,
Like,
and it was just going
a
to
year later.
It was going to be in the safe, and I'm like,
Oh, we found it.
yeah. But what happened is, the owner's there, and you know he's pretending that he's not here.
Right.
So we're having a conversation like this, and he's off to the side, right, like looking like this, right, and I'm like, I don't trust it. I don't trust it. I just went through battling with
Right. Yeah.
So I don't trust this whole thing. I want to be here. I want to be, I want to be around my teammates. I already done programmed them. They not getting the ball. So I already got, the program is already in, you know what I mean? So from there, it was just, 7, I got 4.9, then I got, the deal was, it was a 7-year, $79 million deal. So it was 1 year.
1 year, and then
4.9, and then 7 years, $79 million.
Gotcha.
And then once the math calculated from what Washington offered, that was a dumb deal for me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it would have been like 8 year, 82, 83 million. I'm already getting 6 year,
Right.
66. So it was like,
I love bag talk.
Okay, so
I just hope to see a contract like that at some point in my life.
No, it's the wildest thing, man. Some of these contracts, it's just crazy how they get to where they get to. Allen Houston told a story about his deal. He was like one of the first $100 million guys, right? When he signed with the Knicks, right? So he was already on a $56 million deal, and he had to opt out. He opted out, and they had just come off the Olympics, and so him and his agent been like game planning what they're gonna offer, whatever, and da-da-da. And like they said, okay. They sat down and were like, we're gonna start with 80, and then we'll probably end up at 73 or whatever. And he said they sat down, and the Knicks said 100 million. And they said, can I get that pen? They didn't tell word. So they sat down like, word? Okay. Yeah. No haggling, nothing. Like it was just a different time. And now you got guys, like I said, Buddy Hield, where like the amount of money he makes is significantly impacted by like his incentives. Which, you know, like
what's so funny is when Buddy Hield when his contract came up, right? And everybody's talking about it, and Buddy Hield is not happy. I DM'd Buddy Hield.
Yeah.
I DM'd him, and I said, hold on, I'm not telling you to take it. I'm not telling you to leave it. Don't be one of those players that get screwed by decision making. I said, you have your worth. You know what you're worth. Don't listen to nobody else. It's not about your agent, it's about your friends. What you're worth. So I said, then account for, I said, not your draft class. I said, you as an older player coming in.
Right.
So think about the age. So
going back in.
So now you're 25, 26. Think about everyone that's your age. Where are they at, right? I said, right now, 25, 26, Beal, three-time All-Star. Yeah. You got Giannis. You got that's your age group.
Right.
So now you have to look at, all right, you're averaging 22. You haven't made an All-Star game. Who else is in that category? I said, C.J. McCullough.
Right.
So I said, this is C.J.'s contract.
Right.
You're right there.
Right.
So I said, so don't buck too much because I can tell you that I've seen it. You don't like that contract, and then you play the next year, they're going to bench your ass.
Right.
And mess that contract up. Now they're going to get the same player for cheaper.
Right.
So I said, this is supposed to be the happiest time of your life, bro. Take it, look, use it, like play, and then sign a bigger one. I said, but this is supposed to be the happiest time. You shouldn't be stressed right now, bro.
Nah, but it's great because there is no right answer. That's the thing. Like people want there to be just a strategy. You say this, but everyone's different in different situations. LeBron was doing that 1+1s, and everyone's like, oh, everyone should do 1+1s. Like, no, not everyone, because LeBron's got like however many hundreds of millions in the bank. He can afford to let it ride because it's like, what's the downside is, okay, so I'm LeBron and I signed a 1-year deal or 2-year deal. Meanwhile, like a guy like Kevin Love, it's like, hell yeah, I'm taking the longest possible deal because I need to guarantee this money. Like he's not making the money off the court. So everybody's in a different situation, but I think you're right. The incentive thing, it leads to not basketball, right? Whether it's the player changing the way he plays because he's trying to hit his incentive or keep his incentive, or the team messing around with how often, like, ideally, we put these incentives because we want you to be that great. Yeah. So why would I say, whoa, you're too great. Hold on, that's gonna cost me. Like,
well, no, the incentive is, it's a money structure, right? You want, like right now we're at 100 million.
Right.
You're at 125. How do we close this gap? So it's like, incentives, right? Now the incentive, depending on who you are,
right?
If you're one of those, if you're a KG, these incentives would be like, all right, you average 20 and 12,
right.
2 million. We make the playoffs, 2 million. Yeah. Make it to the second round, 2 million. Like, we're gonna get you. Yeah. You just being you, gonna get you.
Just be you, yeah.
But if you're someone that's like, I really don't want to give you this extra 25 million. So it's like, all right, 5 million if you're the MVP. Right. If you make the All-Star MVP, another 4 million. Right. If you you lead the league in the NBA. So now you be like, oh, he got $125 million deal. Nah, the shit's really 6'5".
It's funny, but some of Buddy's incentives are like, make the Western Conference Finals. Like, damn well y'all ain't paying that much.
But if you Buddy, why you signing that? Like, come on, dog.
If you date Rihanna, we'll give you another 20 million.
Yeah. But that's what they do because you just want, you have the number in your brain and you just want to get there. Yeah. So you're not worrying about the incentive. You just like, I got 125.
Yeah.
You know, it's really, 80-something. It's really that, but it's 125 for the paper. That's what I'm taking. You know the problem with most weed edibles? If you're not careful, you can get way too high. And I mean, sometimes it's okay, but sometimes it's just not chill. You think you're about to have the time of your life, but next thing you know, you're trapped in your couch, battling anxiety-induced fever dream that ain't actually funny. So for those times you're looking to just kick back, relax, and get a medium high, I recommend Diet Smoke for their Delta 8 THC gummies. Delta 8 is simply less potent THC. That's all it is. It's the same cannabis you know and love, just a little less strong. So if you're wondering if Diet Smoke really gets you high, the answer is hell yeah. Their THC gummies aren't light, they're just right. So why get high with Diet Smoke? Here's why. Diet Smoke is less expensive than dispensaries. Plus, you don't need a medical license to order from them. Which brings me to my next point. Because Diet Smoke uses Delta 8 THC, their products are 100% legal in states where cannabis is not. You always hear about people hitting the wrong strands and it makes them anxious. Well, that doesn't happen with Diet Smoke. Diet Smoke gummies give you the right amount of high every time. Each Diet Smoke gummy is infused with 10 milligrams of THC derived from American-grown hemp. Plus, it's organic and all natural. Diet Smoke gummies come in two amazing flavors, blue raspberry and watermelon. And they're both really, really good. I'm telling you, you can't go wrong with either one. Diet Smoke is so confident that their gummies will give you the perfect medium high. If you're not 100% satisfied, they'll give you your money back, no questions asked. So when there's no way CBD will cut it and OG Kush just isn't the move, enjoy the smooth balance high of Diet Smoke. Right now, Diet Smoke is offering No Chill listeners a major discount. All you've got to do is use promo code No Chill at checkout, and they'll give you 20% off your entire order. So go to dietsmoke.com and use promo code No Chill for 20% off everything. That's dietsmoke.com, promo code No Chill for 20% off their THC gummies. No Chill is brought to you by Harry's. If you're looking to find ways to shave off a few bucks this year and get your grooming game on point, look no further than Harry's. Harry's makes absolutely game-changing razors that offer you a close, comfortable shave. Not only that, the price is right at less than $2 a blade. And in recent studies, guys who said they shave 4 times a week said their 8th shave was as smooth as their first. As a user myself, I can say that's absolutely true. And Harry's is giving their best offer to our listeners. New Harry customers can redeem a starter set. You get a 5-blade razor, a weighted handle, foaming shave gel with aloe, and a travel cover to protect your blades when you're on the go. That's a $13 value for just $3. There's truly never been a better time to try Harry's. Go to harrys.com/no-chill to try Harry's today.
I mean, you've been on the inside, obviously working as an exec. How cognizant are teams of situations like that? We're like, ooh, I'm not trying to break this bread on these couple meals, so I'm...
On a contract stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, they don't know.
But like, but is that trickling down to coaching? And are they like, don't give him no burn?
He just told you how it happened to him. Like it happens, but it depends on where we are. Like he said, if we gave this to KG, where he's expected to do this, so you don't have a problem with it, right? We're going to play, and the coach is the best player, one of the best players in the league. We're trying to win games. We're trying to win a championship. Of course, I'm going to play him. Of course, I don't care about incentives. But like younger players. Yeah, man, like you see, like I said, some of these first-round picks, especially if the team's not good. Because teams will pay if we're winning. But if we're like 37-win team, like why am I gonna make life more expensive and harder on me? Because he did something that, all right, you're better than what we thought you'd be, but you're not like one of the best players in the league. That's the difference. Now, when it came to him, in his situation, he was one of the best players in the league. It's just nobody knew it yet, right? So that's why I say it's different for everybody in every situation, from teams to players. sometimes you're cool with it. You're like, I don't care. Yeah, I'll take it. Like if he's doing that, that means obviously things are going well. And then sometimes you're like, look, man, we're going to the lottery. Why am I going to like add stress and prices to this? Because at the end of the day, people think billionaires are like money ain't a thing. I guarantee you, man.
They're the cheapest.
They care so much. In Phoenix, we went through like 6 years in a row where we sold a first-round pick, and usually it was to Portland for like $3 million. We were making like $15 million. They changed the rule because of us. It used to be you could get $3 million on transactions, cash, every single time. 100 times, 2 times, doesn't matter. Now it's like, no, there's a cap to how much you can make in a year. Like you can make, I think, 10 million in cash. After that, no one can throw in cash on deals. So, but the whole thing for us was like, yeah, we could have drafted Rudy Fernandez, but they took James Jones' contract and Brian Grant's contract, which we were a luxury taxpayer, and they threw in $3 million. We basically turned around and went to our owner like, look, we found $5 million for you.
Yep.
We're heroes at that point. Like, yeah.
People don't understand that. It's like they're businessmen.
Money always talks. Whether it's a dollar, a penny, they care. They care unless it's like their own shit. Like they'll go crazy over. We had a year where we did a deal, and we misdid the math as far as like how much money we were going to save. So we ended up saving less money than we were supposed to, and the owner lost his shit. And then later that summer, we went to his house that he just finished building, and my man had in his house like a practice facility that was better than the one that we had as a team. The floor was the all-star floor, and he had like this scoreboard. You hit a button, all of a sudden, instead of a scoreboard, it's a TV. It just looks like a glass window. But you hit a button, it looks like a TV. You're watching Sports Center. You hit another button, now it's a clock and a score, whatever. And we're like, nice to have some of this shit like, where we actually practice, like where we're actually doing things. But the reality is, I think most people are like that. I don't want to make it a billionaire thing. Most people are like, you'll spend money on your shit. But if it's my business or something else, now we're counting dollars. Like, wait a second, how much do we spend?
You know, at that point, it's just crunching numbers. And, you know, as players, just players, period, you really have to understand that side because you need to know if you're going to be one of those players that they're just going to open the book to,
right,
or you're going to be sitting there negotiating.
But, like, being a player, part of it is, like, you believe, of course I'm going to be one of them. Like, you have to. That's what I would say about players, man. Y'all got a level of confidence that it's like you guys and stand-up comedians. The only people who go out there and like, yeah, I'm the best in the world. You have to believe, because if you're like, yeah, I'm all right, like, it shows and you can't do it. So that's why I said everyone's different. You sit here and you say, well, you got to know what kind of guy you are, but so many guys don't know what kind of guy they are.
Yeah, I mean, that's a part of life that everybody's delusional. Like, we all think we're the best looking, we're the flyest, best dressed.
No.
Except for me, I know I'm not.
No, what I said, only the confident players do. Like, you can, that's what, like, you can see who alpha males are. You know, alpha males is not about the toughest, the strongest. It's just the mentally strong. Like, Tom Brady, right? He can't beat nobody up in his locker room. But he's an alpha male.
But he can pass you the rock.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But he's an alpha.
But
So now think about on the court. Like, you're alpha male. Like, he thinks he's the best player. He thinks he's this. He treats himself like this. So, like, when contracts are being negotiated, like...
Well, it's funny because you're absolutely right. Like, people think it's like Debo walked in the locker room and that's the alpha male. Like, no, a lot of times people just listen to people. And sometimes you hope it's your best player, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's one of the guys at the end of the bench. And you know, like Udonis Haslem. Now, he probably could beat up most of his locker room, but the point is, like, people are like, oh, why is he there? It's like, he's there because players listen to him, right? And the moment he steps up, puts on a suit and sits over here, like 1 seat over, that power's lost. Because the whole point of it is it's coming from a standpoint of, I'm one of y'all. The moment I put, like, you know, like Juwan Howard, he was that guy in the locker room, then he became a coach, and like, it's just not the same dynamic, right?
So, I mean, you're with the Suns during the 7 seconds or less run with D'Antoni and Nash. How hard was it for D'Antoni to sell that vision within the organization, and what impact has that had on the game since?
So I got there, the machine was already rolling. I was there and we were printing money already because at that point, my first year was technically the third year. The first year, D'Antoni, he was an interim coach. So they started changing the way they played, but they just didn't, the roster, even though I had Amari and it had Shawn Marion and Barbosa and a lot of these guys, it just wasn't quite good enough. 04, 05, they go with the cap space. They go after Kobe, but Kobe ends up coming back to LA. So they end up signing Q Rich and Steve Nash. And that year, that's when Steve got there, it's like basically Steve Nash and Quentin Richardson to last year's roster that was a 30-win team turned into a 62-win team.
And the change, the rule change.
The rule change that happened a couple years ago.
It was a touch towel, right?
But nobody was taking advantage of it. Like, yeah, like the hand check stuff was in and also a little bit of zone defense, but it was just like, no one was taking advantage. We were still playing the same way. And then Mike was like, we're gonna play fast. And everyone was like, yeah, whatever. When you're a bad team playing fast, nobody cares.
But nobody cares.
But you get Steve Nash, all of a sudden now you're the best team in basketball, and we're the only ones playing that way. Everyone was saying it's not gonna work in the playoffs, and they like destroyed everybody up until they got to the conference finals and lost to the Spurs. And I love when people say, see, I told you it wouldn't work. Oh, because we lost to the champs in the conference finals? That means it didn't work? Because, you know, like Detroit got to the finals and they beat 2. Does that mean their shit didn't work either? It makes sense. So then the next year, Amari's hurt. And they signed Raja Bell and James Jones and trade for Boris Diaw because Joe Johnson left.
Yep.
You want to talk about contracts? Hold on, listen to this. This is one of my favorites. Joe Johnson, before the 62-win season, he's up for his rookie extension. You got to sign it before the start of the season, right? The Suns are offering 42.5. Joe and his agent are like 45.
45.
And the owner said, man, I just bought this team. I already gave $60 million to him. I already signed this dude to an extension like that. Like, I'm not, no, 42.5, last offer. Or you can just go ahead and earn it in season. The rest is history. Like, they go to the season, Joe's an all-star. He's 6'8", strong as shit, guards multiple positions, shoots threes, playmaker, right? He is a max player.
Yes.
Get to all season, they're like, hey, Joe. Atlanta not only gave him max, I don't think you could do this anymore. They front-loaded the contract, so November 1, $20 million cash got to hit his account.
That's how smart teams started. I mean, like just people who was negotiating started front-loaded so that team
don't want to do it.
They didn't want to do it.
So luckily, Joe turned into a sign and trade for Boris Diaw, who at the time wasn't playing well in Atlanta because like Mike Woodson thought of him like traditionally, you're power forward, rebound, da-da-da.
It was so funny is when he guarded me, he came in as a point guard.
Yep.
And it was just as weird. I mean, he came as a point, but he was like a point forward.
Yeah. So Boris comes over, Roger comes over, the team goes back to the conference finals. I started working for the team that year, but like real fringe shit. So I never count 05, 06, even though that was my first year. My first official year being like there every day was 06, 07. And to me, that's crazy. I tell people all the time, that's the best team we had. We lost in the second round that year, but that was the best team we had because it was Steve Nash was a 2-time MVP. Amari was first-team All-NBA. Raja Bell was all-defensive team. Leandro Barbosa was sixth man of the year. Everybody on our roster either shot 50% from the field or like 39% from three. Everybody.
You had like 4 or 5 players in the top 10 in three-point percentage.
Yep. And we were beating people's ass, and we were guarding too. People don't understand. You look at defensive rating, our defense was a lot better than people thought because we had added Kurt Thomas, Raja was there, obviously Sean was an amazing defensive player. They made up, because it really was Steve and Amari were the two that couldn't guard anybody.
Yeah.
So we figured out like, yo, if you surround them with guys who do, like we ain't gotta be number one, we just gotta be good enough for our offense to be unstoppable at that point. And then of course, Robert Horry gets hip check Steve, and we get bounced in the second round, but like we should have won that year. There was no team that could have beat us. They ended up playing, they played Cleveland in the finals. Come on, man.
Yeah. That was my 54 against them year.
Yep.
That
was when he was on the revenge tour.
Yep.
Yo, man, it's crazy because I'm gonna tell y'all this, real talk. We would sit around the office and be like, damn, Gilbert's amazing. Could never have him on this team though. Like, legit, like it was just like, one of those things that you admire over there, and like, absolutely not. We knew you were crazy, man. We knew you were, and talking about guys who are influential in the locker room, you would come in and there are dudes that were gonna follow you that didn't know you were just messing around.
Yeah.
They would follow him for real, like, hey, we should light this place on fire. I gotta play. No,
I'm just playing, I'm just kidding.
It's not serious. But we had guys that wouldn't understand that. It was crazy because obviously the way you played was ahead of your time. And you know who told me, who really put me onto it was Jay Rich. Jay Rich, years and years later, this is when Jay Rich was in Philly. He said, hey, man, you ever think it's funny how, like, all the shit they said Gilbert was bad at? Like, oh, he shoots too much, he shoots too many threes. Like, that's what they're glorifying now. Like, all the guys, Damian Lillard and Steph Curry and all these guys, they're playing the way Gilbert played, but when Gilbert did it, it was a sin.
Because they didn't understand it. They didn't understand it at the time. Like, I understood, okay, there's a shooting guard, there's a point guard. Steve Nash, like, I'm playing against Steve Nash.
Right.
And you know, I understand he's harder to guard when he's in kill mode. When he's, like, so if you look at our battles, I got 54, he got 40. The only reason you guys are in this game because he decided to score. He decided to score.
And Steve said that. Steve said that when he was working for the Warriors. He said, I watched Steph Curry play and I realized I was being selfish by not shooting because I thought this is how you're supposed to play. And realizing now that, like, no, when he's a scoring threat, now you don't know, like, you can't play him for anything. You can't play him for the pass, you can't play him for the shot. And Steve was an amazing shooter everywhere, right?
So when people's like, Steph is the best shooter, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna say yes, but man, Steve Nash didn't miss, bro. Like, he only took a certain amount of shots, but when he shot the ball, like, I'd be like,
You can look up the numbers, this dude, hook shots, like sky hooks, right hand, left hand, off the wrong, like everything all over the floor. There wasn't a basketball shot that he couldn't make other than dunking, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty much the only thing he couldn't do. He could do it probably, but, like, it wasn't worth it, right? But you're absolutely right. Like, there was a time before Steph where we were like, people say, is Ray Allen the greatest shooter? And we were like, look, Ray's amazing and obviously deserves to be up there, but Steve Nash is up there too.
Steve Nash, like, that's what I said, like if you look at our games where we play, because my whole thing was this, I need to attack him because I don't want to guard him. This is what some coaches don't understand in today's game. Today, you guys think defense actually stops offense. No. Offense stops offense. So when I'm guarding Steve, when I'm playing against Steve Nash, I'm like, okay, I need to attack him, get him tired so he doesn't attack back. Get him in foul trouble so he can sit down. Because I can't, like, once he starts, I can't guard him, he can't guard me. So it's now, who is gonna get the first one tired first? So when I go against Steve Nash or any other scorer, I'm trying to score the first 8 shots, I'm going. Then they gotta sub them off, and I'm like, all right, I mentally won. Because you gotta go.
You guys are making the adjustment.
But now he's pissed. Now he's coming back. If you look at Steve Nash, 40, he's gonna have 40, 38, like, and he's averaging 17 because I forced him to be a scorer. The only way you're gonna keep up with this game is if you actually try to score.
But what it is, you know what it is? It's bigger than that. It's the idea that, like, yeah, you gotta be a basketball player. Like, the idea that in the 90s and the 2000s, we got so into, like, he's a three-point shooter. All you do is stand there and shoot threes. He's a point guard. All you do is set people up. You're big, like, and we got to a place where, like, no, I expect my players to be able to do it all. Shoot threes, guard your position, rebound, make plays for others, right? And so you asked Josiah, like, what was the reaction? It was delayed, but it changed the way the game is, because Joe Johnson went from, like, a tweener, is what they used to call guys like Joe Johnson, to that's what we're looking for.
That's
we want a guy like that.
That's what we're looking for.
No Chill with Gilbert Arenas is brought to you by 10,000. 10,000 makes the highest quality, the best fitting and most comfortable shorts I have ever worn. I've been wearing the interval shorts and their versatile shirt when I'm on the bike, and was actually just shooting around in them a couple days ago. Had I had these 10 years ago, I'll probably be discussing my next Supermax deal right now. 10,000 makes gear for all sports, with features like silver ion for odor protection, no bounce phone pockets, breathable fabric, and optional liners to reduce chafing. These clothes can take your training sessions to the next level, or at least make them more comfortable. Another thing I love about these guys is they curated their selection of offering. There aren't a billion items on the site, just the goods. 10,000 is offering our listeners 15% off your purchase. Go to 10,000.cc/nochill to get your discount. That's 10,000.cc/nochill. All right, NBA fans, are you looking for a daily fantasy option for the NBA? then you need to try the award-winning app, Prize Picks. Prize Picks is daily fantasy made easy. I love this, and I know you will too. All you have to do is pick anywhere from 2 to 5 players. Select the under or over of their projection, and you can win up to 10 times your entry. Prize Picks also offers any prop you can think of, from point scoring to rebounds. You can even do steals. You're even allowed to mix sports entries. For example, you can grab the over on John Morant and the under on Travis Kelce. And don't forget to use promo code NOCHILL to receive 100% instant deposit, match up to $100. That's promo code NOCHILL for 100% instant deposit match. Check out prizepicks.com. Prize Picks is daily fantasy made easy.
So let's spin it ahead. Now, you're looking at the current Sun squad. Are you surprised at all at how fast they got so good when they brought on CP3 and Monty Williams and that crew?
No, I wasn't surprised at all. Because Chris Paul, I knew the problem in Phoenix wasn't a talent issue. They'd had talent, right? But they didn't have, which ironically, go back to our era, it was the same thing. Mm-hmm. I just told you, Amari, who was a first-team All-NBA player, Shawn Marion, who's a multiple-time All-Star, Leandro Barbosa, who's Sixth Man of the Year, all those dudes with that coaching staff were there. And the team won 30 games.
30 games.
And you put a guy who is a culture setter like Steve Nash or Chris Paul, and everything falls into place. Did he make Devin Booker great? No, Devin Booker was a great player. But he made it so that, like, if we're gonna do this, no one's gonna, like, I don't feel like doing that. You know, on bad teams, it's easy for people to be like, all right, we'll do it as long as we win it. As soon as we start losing, all right, cool, I tried it your way. It didn't work. Mm-hmm. You had Chris Paul in there, and because he had a relationship with Monty too, you know that they were on the same page. So everybody else falls in line. So this great? Yeah, I didn't think they'd be this great. I said this on the air on Levitar Show the other day. It's the greatest Suns team of all time. It's better than our teams. It's better than Charles and them.
And what's crazy is, yes, but not the talent, though.
Not the talent, not the talent, but the play.
Yeah, but the play.
They play it better than any other Suns team ever. They should win a championship, but that's not how the world works.
It was so funny. They should win. What's so funny?
They should have won.
They should have won.
They should have won.
Should have won it. They should have.
I thought the Bucks weren't going to win a game. Where's the game? I thought the Bucks weren't going to win a game. I was like, it's done. They're going to get swept.
They're too disciplined. Chris Paul is too disciplined. Like, when you're playing against him, you got to understand, as a team itself, they're going to have 5 to 10 turnovers.
Right. As a team,
as a
not
team,
a player.
That is hard to beat when you know you're talking about 86 to 96 possessions and they're going to only turn the ball over 5 to 10 times. That is a hard team to beat. And you know you're going to get a great shot every single time down. You can't make them. You got to have a perfect game against somebody like that.
So that, when we lost to San Antonio years ago, all those years, that's what it was. We were better than them. We were more talented. But we used to say, if it's 100 possessions, even if we make 4 mistakes, they're going to make 3. And that one is going to be the one that costs us. The year when we lost in the first round, we lost 4-1 to them. This is the one where we had Shaq. Game 1 was an overtime game, double overtime game, where Tim Duncan hit his only 3 of the year. I'll never forget it. They ran pick and pop, and Roger was locking and trailing over, and Shaq dipped back to help, and they swung it back to Timmy, and he's wide open, and we're like, oh my God, and I'm like, wait, it's Tim Duncan, he don't shoot threes. And he shot a 3, and he fist bumped, and I saw the look in his eyes, and I swear to God, I was like, yeah, we ain't winning this series. This series, that was game 1. I was like, we're not winning this series. And this dude's doing this. Same thing they had, like, to go to overtime. Mike Finley came off a curl where it was LB guarding him and Stat was guarding the big, and LB and Stat together on a defensive assignment. It was just not gonna work. They hit that shot. And then game 2, same thing. It came down to the wire. Game 3, they blew us out. Game 4, we won. Game 4, we blew them out. And then game 5, we messed up an inbound at the end. And I'll never get Steve said, like, the little things.
It's the little things.
It's not like, oh, they're so unguardable. It's the little things. We played 5 games against them. We blew them out once. They blew us out once. The other 3 games were just mistakes.
People don't understand that when you're talking about playoff basketball, stop looking at the record. That record means nothing. It's who is disciplined.
Dog.
Like, who is disciplined, because that's what it's gonna take. Who can adjust well and who can, like, just think about the finer things, like those little things that count. That's all that matters. The hustle back, the 50-50 plays, you turn the ball over. That's the only thing that matters in the playoffs.
I tell people all the time, oh, they beat them 3 times. Remember when Oklahoma City beat Portland 3 out of 4 times in the regular season? And then in the playoffs, they waved them goodbye, right? I'm like, you gotta understand, regular season, okay, we were in Cleveland, we flew overnight, we got in today, like, we got a advanced scout who watched the last 4 games or whatever, so there's a little walkthrough that we'll do, but like, okay, we go out there, we play, win or lose, believe it or not, like within an hour after the game, we've already moved on to the next shit. Like, I can't sit around and be like, I can't believe they beat, like, no one's doing that.
No one's doing that.
But people, fans think that. They think, like, after a loss, I'm in the cold tub, whatever, like, angry, and the coaches are like, what the hell went wrong?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Embarrassing loss, that might happen.
Yeah.
But, like, on a day-to-day, you can't, because we got another game.
Got another
You
game.
gotta get ready
82
for it.
of those things.
Yep.
You've seen LeBron dancing at the Super Bowl, and obviously the Lakers are a hard comparison, but it's like he's gonna have a life. Like, I'm not just gonna be sitting sulking at the crib all day.
It's like if he went home and was mad, like I'm not watching Super Bowl because we're not gonna. That's not gonna change anything.
Yeah.
So, but when we get to the playoffs, now I'm sitting here and my whole staff, not one guy, my whole staff has devoted their entire life to stopping you.
Yep.
What is the thing Gil likes to do? We're gonna take it away. What's the thing he doesn't like? We're gonna throw that at him.
Yep.
And we're sitting there, we got film, we got books, we got plays, where everything is sitting around designed to stop you, to kill your strongest point. I was watching Oklahoma City and Portland, I'm like, yeah, these games don't matter. And they're like, why not? I was like, well, first of all, Dame is gonna execute. Russ is gonna play off emotion.
Yep.
Russ is gonna ride this roller coaster. Dame is gonna be like, I'm going here. So when Dame starts hitting threes, because Russ is riding the roller coaster, he's like, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna do the same thing.
Yep.
Buddy, that's not your strong suit, right? And that's what the playoffs are all about. When you talk about discipline, it's knowing, what's my strong shit? Like, if we get in a roast battle,
Yep.
I'm not gonna start roasting you about money, because that's not my strong suit. That is your strong suit. I'm gonna find something else. It's the same thing. You gotta find the thing that's your thing, and you gotta find the thing that's their thing, take it away from them.
And that's what, so everyone laughs when I say 1-4 flat, right? Everyone laughs when I say
I
that.
take you seriously. I'm
But,
gonna be real.
no. But you don't understand, people don't understand the concept of why that play is so important. No one scouts it. So when you're going into a playoff game, you know everything I want to do. Every single thing.
Yep.
So if you don't have a player on your roster
But a scouting report
that a scouter report does not actually fit, you are hurt. Like, you gotta remember, it's like being a Bugatti. I always said Bugatti in traffic. Playoffs is traffic.
Yeah.
You gotta learn how to drive
in
and maneuver.
traffic.
So if you don't have half-court players that can create offense off the what's the name, you're gonna have a hard time in the playoffs because everyone knows what you're gonna do. So every time, like you're sticking, flat it. Bah, bah. Do that a couple times. They call the timeout. Now they have to adjust. Now we can go to the play that you wanted to go.
Right.
All right, Antoine, we're gonna do this because now they adjusted. Like, you have to understand. Like, they gotta remember, I'm watching your defense. I'm watching, like in the playoffs, I'm watching I'm watching how you're supposed to guard me. Vrazial, all right. So if I try to take Mo Williams off the dribble, they're all helping.
Right.
If LeBron is guarding me, they're just gonna stay home. All right. I'd rather play against one than
Right.
5. All right, pick and roll with LeBron.
Yep.
Now I got LeBron on me.
Right.
No help. Okay. Straight to the basket,
Right,
layup.
right.
Like, so you sit there and you play those games. You try to find out what their weakness, who they're trying to hide, and go from there. So that's where the 1-4.
Look, here's my thing. I like 1-4 flat as like an option. But some people go in there like, this is my main strategy. Like, that's when it doesn't work. Right?
Yeah.
When you're like, yeah, we're just gonna kill the ball and get the hell out of his way. Like, it works in the regular season, but you're gonna run up against a team that's just deep enough and good enough defensively where it reaches its limit. But that doesn't mean it's unnecessary or it's bad. It's like, like anything. Like you can't do one thing all the time.
Yeah.
You gotta have change-ups and shit like that.
I played in Princeton.
Yeah, with Eddie Jordan, right?
It was the Princeton offense, so
That's so crazy. They put Gilbert Arenas in the game.
But see,
and it worked.
Because I was a shooting guard in college.
Right.
I got 4 All-Americans on my team, so getting the ball from them wasn't. So I had to learn how to read, react, like backdoor, like understand that I can run in this space.
Yeah.
Knowing that I won't mess up the play. So if my man's turning, I run into space, Luke Walton pass it, layup.
Yep.
If not, I can just run, come back. Because I know there's nothing going on in this moment. So I had to understand the offense, I had to understand everybody's weakness and strengths on this team. So if RJ is, if he's right-handed, and I don't want him to shoot. I just run right in that space, cut off his right hand, post up right there. You can't go left. So yeah, and I'll do little stuff like that.
That's hilarious. And my man game plan against your teammates.
Yeah, I'm trying to score.
He ain't gonna want to hear. So,
but that was the problem with me. I was so in tune with. I was so in tune with everything. Like people thought I was just like wild.
Yeah.
I was wild, but I studied so much that when I was around you guys, I want to have fun.
Right.
Like I was here at 5 o'clock, this and that. So now when I see my teammates in the locker room, fun time. Like I already got my work, so not my problem.
Got a couple more for you, Amin. So obviously you're friends with Steve Kerr. You guys work together. When you look at this Warrior squad this year, you had to put your money on one team, the Warriors or the Suns that come out of the West. Who you think?
Earlier this year, I was saying Warriors. I think I'm leaning more Suns now, but I got to keep reminding myself Draymond's not playing.
Yeah.
And everything that's happened to Golden State, this is for all the people like, oh, he averages a triple single. You see the impact there. And it's not just defensively, it's him playmaking, him telling people where to go. It's one of my favorite things watching them is Draymond got the ball, passes it, and then he shoves the shit out of somebody because they're in the wrong place. You don't understand. When Steph passes the ball, he's not passing the ball like because it's your turn. He's passing the ball because he's going to relocate. And you standing there is right where he's supposed to be, so you need to get the hell out of there. I don't want to be prisoner of the moment and say, oh, I think Suns, because I think with Draymond, it changes the math there, and we haven't even seen what Wiseman's going to do for them. The one thing I will give, even when Draymond comes back, is I look at that Suns roster, and now you got the vets are vets, and then the young guys have had their taste of deep playoff action, right? I look at the Warriors, like, okay, Steph, Clay, Draymond, cool.
That's all we think about.
Now it's like, okay, Poole, Wiggins, Toscano Anderson, Peyton. And these are guys who are all rotation guys with Kuminga. What have they done? They played well, but what have they done that's been what we were talking about, that mistake-free basketball where every possession matters, where we're going to be on your ass on every possession? They haven't had it yet. Now, is it possible that they'll learn on the fly? Sure. But I always like, when you ask me between two teams that are very close, I always lean towards the ones that have been through that war because they know what it's like. They know what the value of a possession. And I don't know if those young guys, like, I don't know if Jordan Poole knows it yet. You might think he knows it until you get in that situation.
So let's move over to the East. Obviously, we're in Cleveland. Got to talk about the Cavs.
Yeah.
How legit do you feel like this Cavs squad is, and can they make a run in the East?
It's weird, man, because the East is so flat. Like, I think 2.5 games separate one from 7 or whatever. First of all, shout out to JB Bickerstaff. You talk about a lifer. This dude has been around the league for a long time as an assistant coach, as a player development coach, paid his dues. It's always funny to me when people are like demanding, why isn't so-and-so a coach yet? I'm like, you know how many guys like him and Steven Silas and Jamal Mosley, these dudes were like assistants for 20 years. You guys are wondering why a dude that retired from playing 3 years ago, why ain't a coach yet, right?
Yeah.
So it's crazy to me when people talk like that because I know guys like that who've been waiting for their opportunity. And a lot of times we know you get an opportunity, it's not gonna be a good one. It's gonna be because somebody got fired and you're the interim, which happened to JB in Memphis or in Houston, right? He finally got a squad where like, okay, you're the coach, go ahead and coach it. You get Jared Allen, who was a game changer for them. Like when they look back to how good this Cavs team is, when did it start? It started when you got Jared Allen, right? Everyone's gonna think about Mobley, and they should, because they home run of a pick. But the real start was when they got Jared Allen, because he's the one that started them getting better defensively, and like having kind of an identity of this is what we do. You have Mobley, who now doesn't have to be a savior, even though he's playing great. And then now Garland is playing better.
Yep.
You had Lauri Markkanen, and everything's coming together. So I look at this Cavs team as they're gonna get to the playoffs, and it's a bunch of young guys, and they're gonna get smacked.
The only chance they have is if they play Toronto.
Yes, if they play just a clear talent gap or another team that's
It's like them.
as young as them.
This is the only, like, if they play Toronto, then at that point, it's 50-50 at that point.
Yeah.
It's like,
Because Toronto's going to be the wily veterans. Like we've been here before.
Wild veterans, but they don't have no real takeover guy.
Yep.
So it's one of those two that's like, that's going to be just, that if they match up, that's actually going to be a great series.
Yep.
Because it is going to go down to
That chess game.
So last one for you, for both of y'all. LeBron's gonna be a free agent. There's been some rumblings that he could make a trip back to Cleveland. He could come back.
Can we get the can the
Did
camera
you
get
look
a shot
outside,
of this?
bro? Did you see that, bro?
Let me like the elevator out,
He
bro.
like the elevator. You see that out there, bro? You're not going from palm trees.
Oh, man.
to
They
this.
already did it from Miami.
No, you're not going to
High
palm trees.
75, low of 48. Oh, it's chilly tonight in Los Angeles.
Any way possible, LeBron
It's chilly tonight, 48.
Any way possible, LeBron can make one trip back to Cleveland.
One
running back, one more year.
One scenario. This is the Doctor Strange. $7 billion. There's one scenario where it works.
His son gets drafted here.
Bronaldinho, it comes here. If Bronny
comes here, then he'll come.
He'll come back.
We need that frozen ping pong ball.
No, what's so funny?
Illuminati!
Actually, it's one of these. Like, if you're Cavs and you have a top 5 pick, smart money is pick Bronny, then at that point,
Yep.
Dad is gonna start calling. All right, listen, I'm gonna go. I need you to come with me.
Yep.
Like, it's gonna be one of those.
Yep.
It's gonna be one of those because he's like, he's so calculated, right? And he's not gonna come into a situation where his last year he wins 20 games.
Right. Right. Yeah, exactly. He's gonna come on his terms, but luckily for him, he's one of the few people who can actually call his terms and make it happen. Like some of us say, the only way I'll go is, man, if Josiah gonna be on the team, we're like, well, all right, I mean,
Hey, shit.
I guess neither of y'all coming.
That's a 20-win team. I ain't coming.
Toronto did it with Kawhi.
Oh yeah.
He was like, I just need Paul George. All right, we're not doing that. We just won. We need to pay Paul George.
Both of you right now on the spot, where's LeBron going to finish his career? If you're LeBron, Bronny aside, let's say Bronny got to go to college for a couple years.
Right.
Where's the dark horse spot LeBron could go if he wants to win one more ring? Or does he just stay with the Lakers and they figure it out?
Oh, I don't think he's staying with the Lakers.
You don't think so?
I think he's still got a couple more like I think this year.
Man,
I'm gonna tell you right now. I think this year has taught him like, oh, it ain't automatic.
But you got to remember, you're still talking about Los Angeles Lakers.
Sure.
Right? Everyone wants to go there.
Sure.
So he has more power with that logo because he can pull any free agent to come there.
Right.
Right? That was his problem in Cleveland. The reason he left the first time. Because he's on the phone. Hey, Chris Bosh, come on over.
That's like,
Cleveland?
It's like,
No.
Bosh and Wade, they were like, yo, let's play together. Yeah. Hey, how about y'all come to Cleveland?
Cleveland.
Oh,
and that's what ended up happening.
I like Cleveland.
So now that's the only reason he leaves that first year because he's like, at this point, I need to win.
Yep.
Nobody wants to come here. I'm getting old, retired.
The Shaq.
I'm old Shaq, Antoine. I'm getting these players, and I just need. So he's forced to leave.
Yep.
Win didn't come back. Now everybody's he's a champ. Okay, now I'll come.
Right. I see what you're saying.
Larry Hughes is the highest paid free agent.
Damn, that's right.
That's the high. People don't realize that Larry Hughes is the highest free agent in 2005 Cleveland's ever had.
Yep.
Outside free agent.
Yeah, outside of LeBron, obviously.
I mean, yeah, outside LeBron, yeah.
But like, it's funny because we played this game with Portland. We're talking about, how you gonna get Dame some help, or they need to clear the cap. I'm like, do you know what the biggest free agent they ever signed was? It's like Derek Anderson or something. Like, it's nothing to write home about, basically.
No sales tag and recreational, though.
And I don't mean it, like, people don't understand, like, your city matters.
Yep.
That shit matters.
I think your organization matters, but the city definitely, like...
The organization matters. Like, I'm glad that younger owners are coming in because those owners are basketball,
Right.
some type of basketball. They like understand a little bit more. Back then it was just businessman.
Oh, yeah,
old businessman. So they didn't really
white
care
man.
about, none of that meant anything. Like,
I'll give you the dark horse, though. He's going back to South Beach, baby.
Ooh.
That's where I think he's gonna do one more. I don't know if he'll retire there. I don't know how great it'll be. I think he wants to go back. I think it's one of those things where at the time, everybody's like, fuck you, no, fuck you. And now as you get older, you realize, damn, like we actually had it pretty good. Like as an organization in Miami. Miami's one of the rare things where it's like the city is fire and the organization is on point.
bro, when you get a taste of LA weather, bro, you're not going back to hurricane season, I'm sorry.
Oh, he's not be around for hurricane season. That's in the summertime.
It's hurricane season, but I lose my house. You never know out here.
I mean, before I let you go, I see you got the clear wristband.
Yeah,
Is
buddy.
that the ultimate flex to get you into any function? Does that
should
work
be.
anywhere beyond the airport?
Yeah, I mean, I got it here. I got it for All-Star Weekend, so now I don't have to get checked and, hey, let me see your, no, I got this, man. Yeah, man. Look.
What the hell is that? Hold on.
You don't got the clear?
What the hell is a
You
clear?
got clear?
What is clear?
Oh, man.
You be chartering, Gil, so you clear, they do your joint, you can just circumvent all lines at the airport.
I don't fly like why am I leaving LA, baby?
Again,
Where am I going?
This is the man who was told, hey, man, you can still check this bag. Just talk to that lady over there and say, I'm just going home.
Well, Amin, we appreciate you pulling up, and thank you to the Brewdog Outpost out here in Cleveland, All-Star Weekend. This has been another episode of No Chill with Gilbert Arenas. We'll be back with more very soon.